Okay, today we are going to learn about linear perspective, but first you need to know what it is. Linear perspective is a noun. It's a type of perspective used by artists in which the relative size, shape, and position of objects are determined by drawn lines converging on one point on the horizon. It's a system of creating an illusion of depth on a flat surface. But we need to take a look at what element is used most of all. The root word of linear is line. We will be using lines, but multiple different kinds. There are two things that you must start every correct linear perspective drawing with: a horizon line and a vanishing point. Then you will use two elements of art and design: shape and, of course, line. So let's try this together. You will need every single day a pencil. I will be using a drawing pencil. You will also need to use a ruler. So this is an 18 by 12 paper, which you will be using for your first project after you learn how to do it. This is one of the worksheets that you will have access to. This is one side, and this is the other. So I said there has to be two things that you must have every time. The horizon line. The horizon line is what is considered your eye level. So if it's in the middle, that is where the eye level is. This is the horizon line. It typically goes from edge to edge of your drawing. So I'm going to put my ruler approximately in the middle, making sure that 0 lines up with the edge so it's exactly straight. And I'm going to hold my ruler down tightly with my hand in the middle, and very lightly holding my pencil, make a line from edge to edge. That is the horizon line. Now in the center of that line, approximately in the middle of the paper, I'm going to put a dot. Mine is darker than yours will be. This is called the vanishing point. The vanishing point is where all of your orthogonal lines, which we'll get into in a minute, will meet. They will converge or meet at the vanishing point. So next, I'm going to add a shape. We're going to start with simple geometric shapes. Think of what those are. Geometric. I have a couple of choices, but I'm going to start pretty easy. I'm going to start with a rectangle. So I'm going to start in the lower right quadrant of my paper, this area. And I'm going to add a rectangle. It's not going to be exact. I'm not measuring anything right now. And I might have some overlapping, which I'll go back and erase when I have a moment. But for right now, we're going to start with a rectangle. Now we're going to use our ruler to connect the points to make exact straight lines between the vanishing point and the corners of my rectangle. I'm going to start with the left So the edge of the ruler touches the vanishing point and the bottom left-hand corner of my rectangle. And I'm going to make a line that goes to each point. This is why we did the project prior to. As you can see, you must make exact straight lines. Okay, now I'm going to connect the top left corner of my rectangle and the vanishing point using my ruler, making sure that both points, the top left corner of my rectangle and my vanishing point, are touching the edge of my ruler. I hold my ruler tight and make a straight line. Next, I'm going to connect the top right corner to the vanishing point, doing the exact same process. Everyone should have something similar to this at this point. Now, next thing I'm going to do is make my rectangle into a cube in proper linear perspective. So in order to do that, I need to erase and get rid of some orthogonal lines after I add some ending points to it. So any line that is vertical must be parallel to my original rectangle lines. So what I'm going to do is line up my ruler with my original rectangle and make sure it's perpendicular to the horizon line. Slide it back to where I want what will be a cube will stop. Make sure that my ruler is still perpendicular to the horizon line and make that line from this orthogonal to the bottom orthogonal. Orthogonals are lines that go from your original shape to your your vanishing point. So now I'm going to, that's the back side of my cube in proper linear perspective. Now I want to make sure that the top of my cube is also correct, in correct linear perspective. So the back of the cube on the top must be parallel to the top of my original rectangle. It is also parallel, as you can see, to the horizon line. So that's how I'm going to compare. So I'm going to line up my ruler with this corner, just to show you again, this line that I just made. I'm going to line up my ruler starting there, make sure that my ruler is parallel to the horizon line, and also my original line that you can sort of see through my ruler right now and I make that line. Right now I have a three-dimensional cube in proper linear perspective. However, I have extra lines that I need to get rid of. So that's what I'm going to do. This is the only thing good about mechanical pencils, or their erasers. They have white vinyl erasers that are the best for erasing on this kind of drawing paper. So now you have a cube in proper linear perspective in the bottom right-hand quadrant of your drawing. We're going to do the same thing. So if this is eye level, the horizon line, this cube is below your eye level so you can see the top of it. Let's put one above our eye level. And this time I'm going to do similar. I'm going to make a rectangle, but I'm going to make it long this way. Horizontally, it's longer. Just to change it up. Okay. Now, before I go any further, I want you to think about what I will do next. Put your ruler connecting 2 points that you will make an orthogonal line. Let's see if you were right. If you chose one of these, you were correct. If you chose the vanishing point, you were correct. If you chose both, you were 100% correct. So I'm going to start at the bottom right-hand corner. Line up my vanishing point with my bottom right-hand corner and make the line. And slide this over a little bit so you can see better. Bottom left-hand corner. Top left-hand corner. Now I'm going to make the side and the bottom of the cube, but I'm going to make this one a little bit longer. I'm going to make sure as you can see, the vertical lines are perpendicular, just like the bottom, to the horizon line. So I slide it down a little further. Make sure that my ruler is exactly perpendicular, that there are two 90-degree angles on the right side here. And I'm going to make the line that is parallel to this. I'm going to do the same thing, except this line, the bottom of this cube, will be parallel to the horizon line. And I start from where I just ended my last one. Now I need to get rid of the orthogonal lines, the diagonal lines, orthogonals they are called, from the cube to the vanishing point, because we really don't need them. So let's say you wanted to add a window. Like in this example, number 3 has a window or an opening in the front. the first thing you need to do is make parallel lines inside your original rectangle. So what you're doing is just making a smaller rectangle inside your first one. Get rid of lines you don't need. Now, although that looks three-dimensional, there's also something that I can add to make it more realistic. If you take a look right here, inside of this cube that is see-through or hollow, you can see the top corner of what would be the other side or the other end. Let's see if that would work here. Yep. If I were to finish this rectangle over here, this is what it would look like. So I would only have a little bit showing. Now I also can connect like this, that corner to the vanishing point to make that inside top